Good evening, and welcome to another existential version of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your exuberant and ecstatic host, Voice of Doom. Hello. Well, I am happy to say I have another subscriber. I now have 12. And I was trying to go through my analytics and my YouTube page to see what the name of that new subscriber was, but I can't figure out how to do it. But I think it's one of my customers at work. And I'm very happy to have one more subscriber because I'm going to have a groundswell. Things are going to start happening for me. Now, this is one of those diatribes where I come up with the title and then have to figure out what I want to say about it because it's a great title. Stupidity loves a vacuum. It is a takeoff on Aristotle, who said, nature abhors a vacuum. Abhor means hate. Now, this was 3,000 years ago, perhaps, and he was trying to figure out how the universe works. So he said, if something's empty, then there's going to be something that comes along to fill it up. But I'm going to do a little bit of different take on that whole philosophy and say stupidity loves a vacuum. Let me explain what I mean about that, because there's nothing going on today except for the usual, heading toward the abyss. The usual slouching toward Gomorrah. They're just talking and commiserating and clutching their pearls about various things that have happened, and one side is saying how this so-called administration is a failure through and through, and the other side is trying desperately to find a good thing to say about it. But let's talk about stupidity loving a vacuum. Now, throughout history, things happen, and some things are inexplicable. But there will always be your governmental entities which want to explain why something happened or why they did what they did. It doesn't matter if the French Revolution takes place and a bunch of people's heads are cut off and it doesn't amount to anything. Or if Napoleon tries to attack Russia and gets trounced, or he gets trounced at Waterloo and gets exiled, there's always an explanation. They always say why they did what they did. And historians will always say why they did what they did. Okay, well, now, I'm trying to think about episodes in history where the powers that be did not explain why something happened, and I couldn't come up with much. I really couldn't. You think about the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and they came up with something right away. We found this guy in the theater, and he's guilty, and then we'll have him shot, and then it'll be brushed under the rug. But there was an explanation. And all through history, I was trying to think what things have happened in history that they said, we just don't know what's going on. Never. Because the powers that be, if they don't know what's going on, they will come up with a ready lie, which is the want of an average human being Everybody has to come up with something. When my wife used to say, "Where's your tip money?" I would come up with a ready lie. I would not say, "I don't know. I don't know what happened to them." No, I would say I had to pay a bill. Or, I didn't make that much today, so I don't have much. A ready lie. And the government's been very good. The so-called used-to-be government of what used to be the United States has been very good at always coming up with a ready lie and coming up with an explanation for why they do what they do. Why did those Twin Towers come down? Well, these terrorists had a plan and they pulled it off, and they had their pictures in the paper 1 day after it would happen. So think what you want. There's conspiracy theories. This didn't happen. 9/11 never happened. It was a conspiracy. The government did it. The CIA killed Kennedy. You can say whatever you want, but at least they have an explanation. It's only until the recent past, and I will say the last 2 years and 1 month, that we've had a so-called government run by a person who is in the throes of dementia and suffering from Alzheimer's, running this so-called government, and they are saying we don't know what happened. And stupidity loves a vacuum, okay? I'm going to say it the first time. Everyone else in the mainstream media can copy me later. I'm the brilliant one that started it. Stupidity loves a vacuum. And I'm a little bit 3 sheets right now, as you can plainly tell, because I had a very good night tonight, and I'll tell you why. As my stalwart followers know from watching my diatribes, I have suffered the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, mostly from my own stupidity. And things have gone up and down, and I think things are good, and then they're bad, and then they're good, and then they're bad. And today they're good. And you want to know why? Because I was going to take my measly $70 that I made tonight in tips and pay a credit card bill at Kohl's before I got a late fee, and Kohl's was closed. And so I meandered down to the casino because I realized that I had more money than I needed to pay out to various functionaries. And I could just maybe play $20 or $40 and hope for the best. And I put $20 in the machine, and I started winning. And I kept winning and kept winning. And then by the time I was up about $300 or $400, I played another game, which is called 369, and I hit 9 numbers out of 9, which is a very hard thing to do. I've never done it. And it said call attendant, and that's always a good thing to see on your machine. When it says call attendant, that means good times are happening. And I called the attendant, and I said, I just hit a 9 out of 9. And a bunch of 6s and a bunch of 3s and a bunch of everything. All of my numbers came up. You have to play Keno in order to understand, and I'm not going to explain it to you. But I hit the big one on 10 cents. And he said, you won $1,400 and change. And I said, cool, because I need the money, because I was worried about my bills, and now I just got 14. And he paid me the 14. And then he said, aren't you going to take the money out of the machine? And I go, what do you mean? And he goes, well, there's more money in there besides your jackpot. And I go, okay. And there was another $100 and something. And I took the money and I tipped everybody. And I was the man of the hour. I tipped the waitress 50, and I tipped the mechanic 50, and I tipped the janitor 20. And I tipped a couple of bartenders that didn't do anything for me, 20. Because when I win, everybody wins. So it was a good day. So now I can kind of relax for 2 or 3 days until I do another diatribe and tell you how my life sucks again. Because I blew all the money, or I'll probably end up paying a lot of bills and end up poor again, but a little bit of breathing room, as Petri Dish would say. I just need some breathing room. Okay, I got my own breathing room. I didn't rely on him. But let's get back to the subject because I'm almost done. Stupidity loves a vacuum. Okay. When Petri Dish became the head of state through some means or another, he initiated a form of government where they say, we don't know anything about anything. We don't see anything. We don't know anything. And we can talk about the border, and we can talk about crime, and we can talk about Soros, and we can talk about all those people that are trying to destroy our planet. But when I say stupidity loves a vacuum, I am talking about balloons, and I'm talking about trains, and I'm talking about documents, and I'm talking about a pipeline that Russia was using to send natural gas to Germany in some sort of an economic agreement. We don't know what happened. We don't know anything. We can't say what the balloons were. We can't say what we shot down. They shot down a spy balloon, and then that was when we knew it was a spy balloon. And then there's 3 or 4 other things up in the air, and we're just going to shoot them down. We don't know what they are, but we'll shoot them down because people seem to want us to shoot things down. So we'll shoot things down arbitrarily and willy-nilly. Okay, so we don't know what they shot down, but they're shooting them down. Now, you go into the digging the weeds. Every time they shoot down something, it costs $1 million or more. Everything costs money in the military with America, or what used to be. We don't know what they were, but we shot them down. Okay. We don't know how this train blew up, but we had to do a release of the gases, so we blew it up again and released a toxic mushroom cloud into this Republican MAGA area, and people are safe to go back to their home and drink water because we're sure that everything's fine, even though all the animals are dying. Okay, Nord Stream 2, or whatever the hell it is, blows up. We don't know what happened. We have no idea. Now, we know what happened with that. Now, stupidity loves a vacuum. And when the government, or what used to be, whatever that entity is, says, we don't know what happened, then the media, which isn't a media, it's just a bunch of toadies, start clamoring about, well, if you don't know what it was, maybe it was aliens, maybe it's E.T., maybe it's extraterrestrials. Now, it's getting long already, but let me tell you something. Unless there's a planet on the other side of our orbit, which we don't ever see because we're going around the sun and we never see it, which is not possible because we sent satellites out. We know what this solar system has. It has no sentient life at all. So if some entities came from another star system, they would be very advanced to be able to travel the distance it takes to get here. So, to say we are shooting down extraterrestrials is poppycock. It's childishness. These people in the news are asking stupid questions because it's a distraction. They don't ask questions about Hunter Biden being totally corrupt to the bone and his father being one of the most corrupt personages in the history of America and used to be of politics. They talk about, oh, were they extraterrestrials that you shot down? Now, come on. Are we going to really stoop down to that level? We have a lot of technology we have to worry about, and then we have people asking questions that are childish. And I'm drunk, and I still know better than they do. And I'm going to get pissed about some certain things, but Nord Stream, okay, we don't know who blew that up. Well, if you don't know who blew it up, then you know who blew it up, okay? Because if what used to be the United States didn't blow it up, then we would find out who did, and we would lay it bare in front of everyone. But since we say we don't know what happened, people can just conjecture what happened. Petri dish blew it up. And it's getting long already. I didn't say anything. I'm pretty happy about winning $1,500 and putting it in my pocket and walking out of the casino, so I'm a little exuberant. And thank you for my new subscriber. I don't know who you are because I can't figure out how to figure out who my subscribers are. But when I figure it out, I will give you a personal acknowledgement. And yeah, I've been drinking. I'm happy. So enjoy this one. I think I said what I wanted to say, but if I didn't, I'll say something again next time. But it was probably pretty good. All right then. Enjoy the night. Thanks.